On today's episode of The Keeg, we talk about a lot of geek news, like the 1000th issue of Action Comics. Where were you guys when Action Comics 1 came out?
I was growing my hair out.
Oh.
I was lost in the time stream after defeating a criminal.
1938. It was a good year. Coming at you from Comic Quest in sunny Southern California, this is The Keeg. I'm your host, Dimithri Perera, and today we've got a lot of geek news to talk about, as usual, and I can't do it alone. That's why I brought in my two friends, the amazing Marcus Garrett.
Hey, what up?
And Fernando Funes.
What's up? How's it going?
How are you guys doing today?
You know what? It's been a great weekend. I've had so much to do, and I've done none of it. And so I'm enjoying being not productive at all.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on the show and adding to your non-productivity.
This is the most productive thing that I've done, so thank you for making me put on clothes.
Yeah, that's fair. It's like you got a pile of laundry at home that you got to do, but you're here doing something really, really important.
Exactly.
Fernando, how you doing?
Dude, I love this comic book shop. What's it called again?
It's called Comic Quest.
This is a really cool comic book shop. They got all kinds of issues.
Yeah.
Their trade selection is pretty sick. They got some back issues. I could use more back issues. I love back issues, but everything else, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like comic book stores like double down on like three core things, which are back issues, trades, and like merchandise.
Yeah.
And this one's like has a pretty strong score.
Yeah, it's really strong on two of them. The merch is crazy here.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at like our table, a lot of these pop figurines aren't technically ours. At least my two aren't actually owned by me. They're from the store. They got a lot of pop figurines here.
No, they do. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just crazy how much stuff they have here. It's like you could probably spend hours here and like discovering new stuff all the time.
Yeah. Comic Quest is really nice to us. So if you guys are in Lake Forest, California, or nearby South Orange County, come out to Comic Quest over here because there's a lot of cool stuff here. And this big game room that we have if you guys like gaming. International Tabletop Day is coming up on April 28th, so they're going to do a big thing here.
That's awesome.
Yeah. They're going to have like vendors and stuff and like doing different things. And I mean, they got a lot of games. If you look over there, they got a lot of games like people can play. So that's pretty cool too.
That's awesome.
See, King of Tokyo, it's one of my personal favorites.
Yeah.
It's like Rampage, except with more monsters.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Did you guys see Rampage, the movie?
No.
It was supposed to come out next week.
Yeah.
And I scheduled two of my guests for next week's episode. I told them, watch Rampage. But it came out a week earlier than it was supposed to.
Oh, because I think what happened there is that a few months ago, Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. tweeted, "Hey, why doesn't Avengers Thanos Infinity War?
Yeah.
Why doesn't it come out earlier?" And then Marvel was like, "Sure." So the release date for the new Avengers film got bumped earlier
To the 27th?
Yeah, and that affected everything. So I think Rampage, they felt like, well, we should
At least have 2 weeks of Rampage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Siegel and Schuster created Superman back in 1938. They were two Jewish men creating essentially this Moses-type character. And on April 18th, Action Comics is going to have its 1000th issue, which is a huge, huge deal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a fucking long time to hit 1,000 issues. Are you guys fans of Superman at all?
I'm not a DC guy. So for me, DC has always been difficult to read anything.
That's fair. I mean, I disagree, but I read both DC and Marvel.
Of course. I don't know. I mean, I grew up with like the X-Men animated cartoon series and all that stuff. Yeah. And like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying DC's bad. I'm just saying.
You're saying DC's bad.
Okay. DC's okay.
No,
but
yeah.
Superman, I don't know. He's the guy who started it all. He's the Elvis Presley of comic books. You know, there would be no rock and roll without Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
You know, there'd be no comic book industry or the idea of superheroes without Superman.
Yeah.
Maybe there was other stuff before. Who knows?
I mean, there was a lot of pulp heroes, yeah.
But not like on the scale of like Superman, of like pushing people's conception of what a person can be or what a hero can be.
Yeah.
You know, and like I don't know, that golden age, right? Wasn't like comic books like one of the main ways people consumed media
Yeah.
or entertained themselves?
Yeah.
And that was all probably built on the foundation of Superman and probably later Batman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like his origin story of being from another planet was all fine and dandy, but in the beginning he was more of like a strongman type pulp hero. But then it took a quick, like they found its footing in science fiction, whereas like other people, like science fiction wasn't like a huge thing. You know what I mean? Back then, like the Shadow
It wasn't
and all
like
those guys.
It wasn't like mainstream.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we take it for granted. We grew up in a world where science fiction is mainstream.
Yeah.
And back then it was like, I don't know, it was like maybe more fringe, I guess.
Yeah. What's your experience, Marcus, with Superman?
I think for me, Superman has always just been that hero, and then he's just kind of omnipresent that like everyone knows.
Yeah.
Like whether you read the comics or not, I think if you say superhero just as a blanket term,
Yeah.
like Superman is who comes to mind first.
Yeah.
I think he's just kind of permeated culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are songs written about him. You know,
Yeah.
there's you know like
Kryptonite by
Yep.
what was it? 3 Doors Down.
Yep, and then
Hey, call me Superman. I'm alive, and what will you be there holding my hand? Kryptonite, yeah.
Eminem has a song called Superman. You know, I just think Superman is such a cultural icon, and it's kind of he's that embodiment, right, of like just of like what selflessness is supposed to look like, and
Yeah.
and just what heroics are supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And I think he's just a cool dude. I think as a hero himself, I'm learning more about his complexities, but on the like surface,
Yeah.
it seems boring to have a hero who's invincible.
Yeah.
And obviously he has his like weaknesses and like he has his footholds.
Yeah.
But the more I learn about his backstory, the more I find him a relatable hero.
Yeah. I mean, they've really expanded upon him. Now they've given him a son, which is nice.
Yeah.
And
He finally did it with Lois Lane.
yeah. Well, he's always done it with Lois Lane. Are you doing the whole Man of Steel woman a Kleenex type?
Kleenex?
Have you heard that?
No,
like
I
that
haven't.
theory.
I know what it is, though.
Yeah, they've expanded upon Superman a lot recently, and like I think what's cool is Superman interacting with other people. But what people complain about, it's really interesting. People are tired of him being like this Jesus type character where he's a god and like he can do whatever. At the same time, when people write the complexities about with him, people don't want to accept it. For instance, when Superman says, "I'm giving up my American citizenship, I'm a hero of the world," people got so pissed about it.
When was this?
This was a couple years back.
Oh.
Yeah. This was before the New 52, like right before. And so he said, "I'm giving up my American citizenship." Not Clark Kent didn't do that. Keep in mind. Superman did.
Yeah.
'Cause Superman doesn't need his citizenship. He's a hero of the world. But people got really upset about it. But I thought that was a very complex type personality choice, right?
Well, yeah. Also, comic book characters have to evolve with the times.
Yeah.
If they're going to stay contemporary, and if we're living in this globalized world where like borders are like becoming more fluid and identities becoming more fluid, comic books should reflect those things with the characters that are appropriate for it, obviously.
Right. The question is, can such an American hero like Superman, is he an American hero anymore?
It's funny you say that. I was thinking about that earlier because the guys that made him are like two second generation Jewish guys. I think their parents were immigrants from like Europe, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know. There's a lot of Jewishness to Superman's character, but essentially he's you or I, that our parents are immigrants and they came here to give us a better life. And we have this past world we don't know of, but we know it's there and it formed us somehow. But we have this new world, and this is where we're going to serve. This is where we're going to live. So it's very American who he is.
I did feel that way when I was growing up. It was weird.
Yeah.
It's like me and my family were from Sri Lanka, and to me, Sri Lanka was like Krypton. It was weird because I wouldn't run across too many Sri Lankans in like real life unless we like knew them. So it was really rare. So I was kind of like the last Kryptonian. It was kind of a weird thing growing up, you know?
I can relate to you, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. How do you feel about it? Sorry.
No. I'm gonna let you guys speak more on this one.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Superman.
Well, he's an immigrant, right? That's what I know. That's like another aspect people have thrown about it, but people don't want to like recognize that.
Is he an immigrant though? Because I mean, people bring it up. I mean, how
can he not be an immigrant? I mean, maybe not. I'm not even talking about metaphorically. I'm talking he literally is.
Came from another planet.
He literally came from somewhere else.
So in the first however long of his years, most continuity has it that like he thinks he's a human, right? And then his powers manifest. Or sometimes he has all these powers, but he still thinks he's human. So he's still being raised as a Kansas American kid until then he learns of his heritage. So I feel like it's more of an adoption story about learning about your heritage than an immigrant story where he's coming in. A lot of people say that Supergirl is more of an immigrant story because she grew up till like age 12 or whatever on Krypton, then came here. Yeah. So she speaks Kryptonian. She remembers the old world, and there's that whole like her religion. Even in the show, she's all about Ra, the sun god. Like she's not a Christian girl. She still has that old world religion.
No, I think that really makes sense. Like the experiences, though similar, of adoption versus immigration, right? Yeah. It's like there are some key differences, and I think the key difference for Superman is that, like, I feel like it is more of that adoption story, because he can't point back and like say this is where I come from, really, you know, like it takes so long before he learns who he is. Yeah. And that's more typical of an adoption than of an immigrant story.
Yeah. I think that Supergirl is more of that immigrant story.
Well,
he does learn a lot though about his heritage. Another change that's happening is Batman and Catwoman are going to get married on July 4th. I don't know whether that was, on purpose, July 4th. But I mean, because there's nothing really like, God bless America.
They're fucking
about Batman,
autumn.
But,
they're an autumn couple. They're not a summer couple. Yeah. Yeah. Like, what the hell? They should get married on Halloween. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
But they are getting married.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any thoughts about it, Marcus?
I mean, I think it's beautiful. I think we don't talk enough about like what heroes have to sacrifice in order to be superheroes. Like they have families, or they want to have families, and especially for a guy like Batman, who's just so brooding and like and he's like, you just know that on the inside he just desires these things, and like and like you see his romance with Selena Bloom and like you want him to have something. You want him to have family that's beyond Alfred, and so I think it's a fun thing. I think it's a little silly, but I think comic books allow you to be silly and also be serious. And so my big question is like, what kind of food are they gonna serve? Are they gonna have a live band? Are they gonna have
a DJ?
Yeah, I think these are the big questions that I really want to know.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have two weddings, one for their civilian friends, and one for their superhero friends. The Lego movie would do that. But I guess what I'm saying is, it's so cool that like Batman is getting married. I guess because it's also, I don't know, you want to marry someone who's on your level, someone who's gonna make you better. I guess,
And that's what so Clark and Lois were talking about. They were like, but she used to be a villain. She used to be a thief or whatever. And like they kind of talk about how like people change,
Yeah.
And then they accepted her, and then There's a couple issues, Fernando. If you're looking for that, there's a couple.
It
really
just sounds
good issues.
like it just sounds like fun.
It is.
It just sounds like
and I think more comics need to be fun, and they need to lean into they're leaning into the Bat family. They're leaning into Superman and his kid.
Yeah.
You know, okay. I think it's crazy because growing up, DC and Marvel were neck and neck, and they were doing good stuff and blah blah blah. Right? DC was barely making any DC movies. Marvel wasn't making any Marvel movies up until Spider-Man and blah blah blah. And then things really started ramping
even
up.
then, that was still Sony owned. You know. It was like different.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is that like they were neck and neck, but now kids love Marvel. Like people don't talk about DC, and DC is going to be forgotten. And it's a shame as someone who loves DC, and I love Marvel, I love DC, and I need them both to prosper. It sucks because you're spoiling this this franchise for all these kids of these new generations, right?
You're losing all these new
You're losing them.
Yeah.
They don't care about Superman. They care about Captain America, which is
insane.
Crazy. It is
That's
insane.
Insane.
It is.
Because they're not even in my mind like on the same level. It's like Superman is so much more important. I mean, we like talked about it for so long. Like Superman to me is the superhero. Yeah. And so for like kids to like not even hold him in that regard, I think it's insane.
Yeah. Before we get going, I'd like to thank you guys for listening or watching. You're either listening to this podcast, you've listened to the whole episode, we've ranted and raved and gone on tangents, and you've been around for the whole thing, or you're watching us on YouTube, and that's great too. It's a little bit of an abridged episode because we cut it down a little bit, get the spicy stuff out there for you. Thanks for liking or watching us. Thanks for listening to us. Please feel free, like, comment, subscribe to this show. To maybe some other episodes. We have a cool WonderCon episode that came out a couple weeks ago with some really big names like Todd Knock, Joni Brosas, Terry Dodson.
You got Terry Dodson?
We got Terry Dodson. We got to interview Terry Dodson. Next week, we have some guests. We talk about the new Rampage movie. So if you like big gorillas, crocodiles, flying wolves,
The Rock.
About that. The Rock. Everybody loves The Rock.
And who doesn't?
Yeah, my mom loves The Rock.
My mom loves The Rock.
No, my mom loves The Rock. My mom's going to fight your mom for The Rock.
Yeah.
My mom calls herself Pebbles. So, Mom, if you're out there, you're not watching it, but
I know my mom's not watching too, so it's good.
It's cool. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/The Keeg. We're on Instagram and Twitter at The Keeg Show. Hashtag Keeg Talk if you ever want to converse with us, bring up some topics. We can talk about it on the show. We are on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube. So feel free, pick and choose what you guys want. At Comic Quest here in Lake Forest, California, they're going to have International Tabletop Day on April 28th. So feel free to come out, see what they got to offer. Thank you guys for coming on the show. Marcus, where can people see you next?
So right now I'm actually doing this series of videos. It's called Celebrity Miitomo, and we are having episodes running through May 9th on our YouTube channel. So find us at Top Shelf Gaming, and you can find me personally on Twitter at Top Shelf Marcus. So yeah.
Awesome. Top Shelf.
Yeah, you can just follow my blog on WordPress. It's the sisyphuslife.wordpress.com. Just follow me there for all my poems and stuff like that.
How do you spell Sisyphus?
Sisyphus, right?
Yes.
Obviously.
Let me see here. THESIPHUSLIFE.COM. End.
Cool.
Are you on Twitter, Fernando?
Yes, but I don't use it that much.
Okay.
Yeah,
Instagram?
It's private.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's
private.
fair. I just created a new Instagram. It's definitely Dimithri. So as long as you know how to spell Dimithri. I wanted to have one that was kind of pared down from just casual stuff and past.
People are doing that now. They're having an Instagram that's like professional.
I'm trying to do that. Yeah.
And then there's like the personal one.
Yeah.
I have one that's like personal, and then one for all of my nude modeling.
Oh man, what is it? What is it?
It's
the hashtag.
It's at Top Shelf Buttocks.
TSB.
All right. Thanks you guys for watching. Once again, I'm your host, Dimithri Perera, and this has been The Keeg.